So today we are going to start with chapter number 6, which is electromagnetic induction. Let's just understand the introduction part. Electricity and magnetism were considered separate and unrelated phenomena for a long time. In the early decades of 19th century, experiments on electric current by Oersted, Ampere and a few others established the fact that electricity and magnetism are interrelated. They found that moving electric charge produces magnetic fields. For example, an electric current deflects a magnetic compass needle placed in its vicinity. This naturally raises the question like, is the converse effect possible? Can moving magnets produce electric currents? Does the nature permit such a relation between electricity and magnetism? The answer is resounding yes. The experiments of Michael Faraday in England and Joseph Henry in USA conducted around 1830 demonstrated conclusively that electric currents were induced in closed coils when subjected to changing magnetic fields. In this chapter, we will study the phenomena associated with changing magnetic fields and understand the underlying principles. The phenomenon in which electric current is generated by varying magnetic fields is appropriately called electromagnetic induction. When Faraday first made public his discovery that relative motion between a bar magnet and a wire loop produced a small current in the latter, he was asked, "What is the use of it?" His reply was, "What is the use of newborn baby?" The phenomenon of electromagnetic induction it is not merely of theoretical or academic interest but also of practical utility. Imagine a world where there is no electricity, no electric lights, no trains, no telephones, and no personal computers. The pioneering experiments of Faraday and Henry have led directly to the development of modern day generators and transformers. Today's civilization owes its progress to a great extent to the discovery of electromagnetic induction. 6.2 The experiments of Faraday and Henry. So, what they have experimented? The discovery and understanding of electromagnetic induction are based on a long series of experiments carried out by Faraday and Henry. We shall now describe some of these experiments. Experiment 6.1. Figure 6.1 shows a coil C1 connected to a galvanometer. So here this is a coil C1 which is connected to galvanometer, and when a bar magnet is pushed toward the coil, the point in the galvanometer deflects. Okay? So when the north pole of a bar magnet is pushed towards the coil, the pointer in the galvanometer deflects, indicating the presence of electric current in the coil. The deflection lasts as long as the bar magnet is in motion. The galvanometer does not show any deflection when the magnet is held stationary. When the magnet is pulled away from the coil, the galvanometer shows deflection in the opposite direction, which indicates reversal of the current's direction. Moreover, when the south pole of the bar magnet is moved towards or away from the coil, the deflection in the galvanometer are opposite to that observed with the north pole for similar movements. Further, the deflection is found to be larger when the magnet is pushed towards or pulled away from the coil faster. Instead, when the bar magnet is held fixed, the coil C1 is moved towards or away from the magnet. The same effect are observed. It shows that it is a relative motion between the magnet and the coil that is responsible for a generation of electric current in the coil. Experiment number 6.2. In figure 6.2, the bar magnet is replaced by a second coil C2 connected to a battery. The steady current in the coil C2 produces a steady magnetic field as coil C2. So here we are replacing the bar magnet with a coil C2 attached with a battery. Move towards the coil C1. The galvanometer shows a deflection. This indicates that electric current is induced in coil C1. When C2 is moved away, the galvanometer shows a deflection again, but this time in the opposite direction. The deflection lasts as long as coil C2 is in motion. When the coil C2 is held fixed and C1 is moved, the same effects are observed. Again, it is relative motion between the coils that induce the electric current. Experiment 6.3. The above two experiments involved relative motion between a magnet and a coil and between two coils respectively. Through another experiment, Faraday showed that this relative motion is not an absolute requirement. Figure 6.3 shows two coils C1 and C2 held stationary. Coil C1 is connected to galvanometer G while the second coil C2 is connected to a battery through a tapping key K. It is observed that the galvanometer shows a momentary deflection when the tapping key K is pressed. The pointer in the galvanometer returns to 0 immediately. If the key is held pressed continuously, there is no deflection in the galvanometer. When the key is released, a momentary deflection is observed again, but in the opposite direction. It is also observed that the deflection increases dramatically when an iron rod is inserted into the coils along their axis. 6.3 Magnetic flux. Faraday's great insight lay in discovering a simple mathematical relation to explain the series of experiments he carried out on electromagnetic induction. However, before we state and appreciate his law, we must get familiar with the notation of magnetic flux phi b. Magnetic flux is defined in the same way as electric flux is defined in chapter 1. Magnetic flux through a plane of area A placed in a uniform magnetic field B can be written as phi B is equals to B dot A, that is BA cos theta, where theta is the angle between B and A, and the notation of the area as a vector has been discussed earlier in chapter number 1. Equation 6.1 can be extended to curved surface and non-uniform fields. If the magnetic field has different magnitudes and directions at various parts of a surface as shown in figure 6.5, then the magnetic flux through the surface is given by phi b is equals to b1 dA1 plus b2 dA2 up to infinity, that is for all sigma bi into dAi, where all stands for summation overall area elements dAi. Comprising the surface Bi is the magnetic field at the area element dAi. The SI unit of magnetic flux is Weber or Tesla meter squared. Magnetic flux is a scalar quantity. Faraday's law of induction. From the experimental observation, Faraday arrived at a conclusion that an EMF is induced in a coil when magnetic flux through the coil changes with time. Experimental observation discussed in section 6.2 can be explained using this concept. The motion of a magnet towards or away from coil C1 in experiment 6.1 and moving a current carrying coil C2 towards or away from coil C1 in experiment 6.2 change the magnetic flux associated with coil C1. The change in magnetic flux induced EMF in coil C1. It was this induced EMF which caused electric current to flow in coil C1 and through the galvanometer. A plausible explanation for the observation of experiment 6.3 is as follows. When the tapping key K is pressed, the current in coil C2 rises from 0 to a maximum value in a short time. Consequently, the magnetic flux through the neighboring coil C1 also increases. It is the change in magnetic flux through coil C1 that produces an induced EMF in coil C1. When the key is held pressed, current in coil C2 is constant. Therefore, there is no change in the magnetic flux through coil C1 and the current in coil C1 drops to 0. When the key is released, the current in C2 and the resulting magnetic field decreases from the maximum value to 0 in a short time. This results in a decrease in a magnetic flux through coil C1 and hence again induce an electric current in coil C1. The common point in all those observation is that the time rate of change of magnetic flux through a circuit induces EMF in it. Faraday stated experimental observation in the form of a law called Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. The law is stated below. The magnitude of induced EMF in a circuit is equal to the time rate of change of magnetic flux through the circuit. Mathematically, the induced EMF is given by sigma is equal to minus d phi b divided by dt. The negative sign indicates the direction of sigma and hence the direction of current in a closed loop. This will be discussed in detail in the next section. In the case of closely wound coil of n turns, change of flux associated with each turn is the same. Therefore, the expression for the total induced EMF is given sigma is equals to minus n d phi b divided by dt. The induced EMF can be increased by increasing the number of turns n of a closed coil. From equation 6.1 and 6.2, we see that the flux can be varied by changing any one or more of the terms B and A and theta. In experiment 6.1 and 6.2, in section 6.2, the flux is changed by varying B. The flux can also be altered by changing the shape of a coil, that is by shrinking it or scratching it in a magnetic field or rotating a coil in a magnetic field such that the angle theta between B and A changes. In this case is 2 and EMF is induced in the respective coils. Example number 6.1, which is based on the experiment 6.2. What would you do to obtain a large deflection of the galvanometer, and how would you demonstrate the presence of an induced current in the absence of galvanometer? So first, to obtain a large deflection, one or more of the following steps can be taken. First, use a rod made of soft iron inside the coil C2. Second, connect the coil to a powerful battery. And the third, move the arrangement rapidly towards the test coil C1. And B, that is, how would you demonstrate the presence of an induced current? So replace the galvanometer by a small bulb, the kind one finds in a small torch light. The relative motion between the two coils will causes the bulb to blow and thus demonstrate the presence of an induced current. In experimental physics, one must learn to innovate. Michael Faraday, who is ranked as one of the best experimentalists ever, was legendary for his innovative skills. Example number 6.2. A square loop of side 10 cm and a resistance of 0.5 sigma is placed vertically in the east-west plane. A uniform magnetic field of 0.10 Tesla is set up across the plane in the northeast direction. The magnetic field is decreased to 0 in 0.70 second at a steady rate. Determine the magnitudes of induced EMF and current during this time interval. So, the angle theta made by the area vector of the coil with the magnetic field is 45 degree. That is, initial magnetic flux is phi is equals to BA cos theta. It is 0.1 into 10 raised to minus 2 divided by root 2 because cos 45 degree is 1 upon root 2 Weber. So final flux is 0, phi minimum is 0. The change in flux is brought about 0.70 second. From equation 6.3 we can say that sigma is equals to delta phi b divided by delta t. So phi minus 0 divided by delta t, that is 10 raised to minus 3 divided by root 2 into 0.7 is equals to 1.0 MV, and the magnitude of the current is I is equals to sigma upon R, that is 10 raised to minus 3 volt divided by 0.5 sigma is equals to 2 milliampere. Note that the Earth's magnetic field also produces a flux through the loop, but it is a steady field and hence does not induce any EMF. Okay, so we will just stop here. In the next video we are going to start with example number 6.3. Thank you.